Have you ever met a colorblind person before? Have you ever wondered, what do they see in everyday life versus what I see in everyday life? Well, I'm 90% colorblind, and every single day people ask me questions. What is life like? What do you see over there? What's going on in your head? And I get these questions and I thought, you know what? Let's settle the score once and for all, make things much simpler, and make a top 10 question video about questions that I get about being colorblind and give you answers from my perspective. If you like this video, there's another one where I wear these Enchroma colorblind glasses. And basically, they help my brain perceive certain colors that the cones in my eye cannot see. For example, the color purple, which I still can't believe the color purple exists in nature. It's a natural color. It blew my mind, so check out the video. Okay, number 10, can you see the colors within traffic lights? Honestly, no. So usually when I drive and I'm not sure what it is, if there's no cars around and I can't figure it out, I just go. Like, I just put my foot on the pedal and go. And so far, everything's worked out pretty well. Of course, that's absolutely false. That's not true. Don't believe me. Colorblind people actually can see the color of traffic lights. They were specifically designed through research to find that the certain gradients of color of each traffic light is identifiable by people of different types of color blindness. So for example, the bottom one is the green light. The green is this super white color, right? It's very pale to me, very easily recognizable, and I know for people from different types of color blindness. The middle one, yellow, is super, super bright. It's something that when you're driving, you can see the yellow, you know right away to slow down, or for certain people, speed up. And then the red is a dark kind of crimson brown color for me. And I know that that is because it's the darkest, I'm supposed to stop. Now, some people say, well, the actual angle of the traffic lights going vertically will identify what to do. Unfortunately, certain places like, say, the Jersey Shore, you know, say Ocean City, New Jersey, the traffic lights are actually horizontal. So you can't go by the direction of the actual colors of the lights. Number 9. So what colors can you see and not see? Okay, so the best way for me to explain this, imagine you can see 12 different colors, right? So that's all your brain, your eye can pick up and your brain can perceive. I can see within those 12 different colors, I can see 3 different categories. And so let's say blue, purple, and pink. I see all of them as kind of just a blue blur of color. I can't see purple, I can't really see pink, but I know it's one of the 3. So where you can see 12 different categories, I can see 4, sometimes even 3. I would add pink, gray, blue, and purple into that one category. Number 8, is life more boring for me? Number 7, were you born colorblind? Yes. Number 6, do you see the same way a dog sees? I don't know what dogs see. I've heard they see like black and white or something. I haven't really looked into the research. So dogs seem really happy and they seem to just enjoy life. I like to enjoy life, and I guess they don't need as many colors as, say, people who can see normal light spectrum. So I don't know, but I know that when I'm with the dog, I'm happy, the dog's happy, I'm happy, so that's all I can say. So I first found out I was colorblind in kindergarten. So the school nurse brought me in for my annual test. They do the hearing test, they put the headphones on you. You raise your left hand if you hear the left beep and the right, and so on. They also do a vision test, so where you cover your eye and you have to read off the chart. But she decided that because I'm a male, males are more likely to be colorblind versus females, that she wanted to do the colorblind test. And this is basically a book where it's a bunch of colored dots, and there's a number of other colored dots within the bigger chart, and you have to basically say what the number is. But anybody, whether you're colorblind or not, can see the first one. The rest, like 15, 16, or 17, I couldn't see. And she was really upset with me. And she actually called my mom and said, listen, I was trying to work with your son, do this medical exam, and he was just not cooperating. My mom's like, well, what happened? explain the color blindness thing, and my mom goes, who's also a nurse, by the way, and she says, well, he's colorblind. My other son is colorblind. In fact, my female cousin, which is rare, so she's colorblind, and all 3 of her boys are colorblind. What are the biggest mistakes that I make in everyday life being colorblind? Food seems like something that is really ordinary, anybody can do. That's really difficult for me when it comes to color. So for example, fruit, you look at a banana. I always pick the green bananas. When I come home, like, I'll have a banana, I'll throw it in my smoothie or something. And so I try to rip it off and it's not going. I'm like, but it looks yellow. And I start peeling and it doesn't really peel. By the time I realize, oh, it's not ripe yet because I guess it's green, even though I think it's yellow, I have already ruined the banana and I just like suck it up and eat the starchy banana, whatever. Another one is when I go shopping. I really hate going shopping. You can see I'm wearing like this white shirt. I know if I wear really basic colors like white, blue, basically white and blue, I don't mix things up. So when I go shopping and there's like, the labels have really weird colors of like that I can't understand and I don't know what it means. There's like all these different shades of shirts or pants or shoes or socks or whatever. I have no idea what's going on. I always bring someone along with me to help me go shopping, or if I'm alone, I like to ask somebody who's working there, hey, can you help me out? I'm colorblind. And usually they're really nice. Like, oh yeah, like what's colorblind like? I'm like, I have a YouTube video that I want to show you that I could just skip answering all these questions, but thank you for helping me shop. Also in everyday life, I would say when giving directions, sometimes people will go either like in the street, like, oh, it's like by the blue building. I was visiting St. Pete Beach, Florida, and it's a huge pink hotel, one of the most famous places in kind of the Gulf Coast of Florida. So everyone kept saying, go to the pink hotel. I'm like, there's no pink hotel. I have no idea. And then I found out what it was, like, oh, the Don Cesar. Like, yeah, but we don't really say that. We say the pink hotel. Oh my gosh. Also, when you try to find something, like someone's like, oh, it's next to the red book, just grab the brown one. And I'm like, that's the exact same color for me. I have no idea. And I'm like, just tell me the title and I'll like read and figure it out. Also use logic for colors. Like I know that the sky is blue. So if someone says by the blue thing, I think about what I can recognize using logic. So that, oh, it's the color of the sky or the ocean. But when the variance or the actual shade is different, it's almost impossible to figure out. Another one is green. They're like, oh yeah, it's the green one. I'm like, well, that's not the color of grass. That's not green. They're like, well, it's a darker shade of green. My eyes have no idea what's going on. Actually, a lot of people have asked me, do you dream in color blindness, or do you dream in like color because you're going right for the brain and you're skipping the cone in your eye? That's bad. Ever heard of Plato's cave and this idea basically where people were born in a cave, lived in a cave their entire life, and somebody actually left the cave and they experienced things that they were not able to see outside the cave. In this case, let's say color. Let's imagine everything's black and white inside the cave. One person goes out, sees the beautiful flowers, and comes back in and goes, hey, I saw this really great like flower or the sunset and it's so amazing. And the person tries to explain what those colors are to the people in the cave. The people in the cave just can't figure it out, right? They have no frame of reference to know. I kind of take that approach with my dreams. So I've been on dates before, or girls I've dated, and they ask me, so like, your kids, are they gonna be colorblind? Kind of probably thinking about whether our kids might be colorblind, probably overthinking it. Yes, there's a very good chance. It depends on the XY chromosome. It depends on if I had kids with somebody who is, say their father's colorblind. Yes, there's a very good chance our boys would be colorblind. Less likely of a chance of our girls, but still a chance that she could be colorblind. It really depends. And if you are listening to this and you are into biology, or you just took the biology class about the XY chromosome, post below, comment below, teach me a little bit. So the number one question that I get from people all the time when they find out I'm colorblind, especially when I was a teacher, and I was an elementary school teacher for a long time before I went to teach college, and the little kids would always show me something, go, so you're colorblind, right? Like, what color's this crayon? And I like kind of look at the label. I'm like, oh yeah, it's like brown. And the kid's like, you're not colorblind. I'm like, yeah, I just like read that. A little bit off topic, but I think pretty funny. So when I was grading all the students' papers for like the first 3 months when I taught 5th grade in California, I was using a brown marker and I thought it was red. And so one day a parent came up to me and said, hey, like, you know, we know that you're from Pennsylvania and maybe you do things differently, but why do you use brown marker corrective ink versus red? And I go, no, I use red. Like, I've only used red. Of course you use red. That's standard among teachers. Show me the paper. I'm like, yeah, it's red. And the parent's like, no, it's brown. I thought, oh my gosh, that's right. I'm colorblind. And we both had a laugh about it. But I realized, wow, like things I take for granted in everyday life, I think that I'm seeing are totally not the case. Getting back to the question, people ask me when they find out I'm colorblind, they just start pointing to clothes, like, oh, what's this? And then they point to their scarf and like all the different colors, and then they point some to the wall. And it's fun. Like, I actually enjoy it usually for the first 5 minutes or so, and usually it goes on for much, much longer. And I just go, this is emotionally straining for me, and I'm sorry to go any further with this. And they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, but just one more question. And then they ask me another one. I have a bonus one for you. People ask, how do I get dressed in the morning? First of all, I'm a very simple person. I don't like owning lots of stuff. Kind of a simplistic person that way, kind of a minimalist. And so I don't actually own a lot of clothes. I like to keep things very simple and basic, but I also memorize what I own. Worst thing is when I wear a suit for either work or a presentation. So you have like the colorful tie, and then you have the suit, and then the shirt underneath, and then sometimes you have to wear a scarf or whatever. It drives me crazy. I usually go straight, let's say blue suit, always a white shirt, and always a solid color tie, because you basically can't go wrong when you go with solid colors, white base, and so on. If you have ideas about other videos you'd like to see, I have a lot that I'm going to be producing over the next months and hopefully years. I want this to be a community. I want to engage with you. I'm going to spend a lot of time looking at your comments and replying back, but this is a place that we can grow together. I'm super excited. I thought I would start with a fun video to kind of get this back up and going again. Thank you so much for joining me.